How often do you find yourself on your phone in the middle of any task you are doing and you are thinking that you are procrastinating, but you cannot do anything with it? I graduated high school with honors, I got my bachelor's degree, and I got in one of the best universities in Canada, McGill, and I successfully graduated from it a couple of days ago. So today with you we're going to talk about being a perfect student. Well, I wouldn't say like how to get straight A's, how to polish your study strategies, how to do consistent studying, and how to do your best. I quickly wanted to give a little disclaimer. Every single person in the world can make mistakes. That's okay to make mistakes. And all of those people you are studying with, they are in the same boat as you are. I can tell you that most of the people studying at university are stressed, nervous, anxious about their subjects, about their grades, about the exams, about the tests. So today we are going to take a look at what can you do to ease the process. And by the way, I honestly think that these things will be suitable not only for those people who study, but also for those people who work, because most of the time when we work, we also learn new things, and we also procrastinate when we work, when we have a project, when we're working on something, as long as it's not a meeting. When a meeting is kind of hard to procrastinate. But anyway, I hope you enjoy and find this video useful for you. And let's get started. First thing I think you must understand is what kind of learner you are. There are 4 main types. I will take a look at my notes. It's visual, auditory, read and write, and kinesthetic. I thought that I was a visual learner, but I realized, and throughout the process and talking to people, I realized that a lot of people have 2 types. People combine 2 types. I think I myself am a visual learner, so a lot of the things that I learn, I need to see first. I need to read them, I need to look at them, I need to see the picture, kind of visual graphic representation, and only after that I will remember that. Let's say it would be a map, it would be a picture, it would be a graph, it would be a table, something where I have some sort of order. And kinesthetic, it's the time when you actually apply the knowledge. How I see it in my learning, I need to teach someone. I need to explain some people how certain things work, and only after that I would actually remember it. The visual representation, if we come back to visual, I know that I cannot remember people's names unless I see them in writing. Like, you can tell me 1,000 times what's this person's name, but unless I see it, I will not remember it. Talking about the kinesthetic type, I am a teacher myself, so I'm not only a student, I am also a teacher. I'm tutoring the language, and I see how people learn, and I understand that even sometimes, for example, when I learn new things, it's easier for me to remember them if I explain it to other people, but in the sense that if you work with other students and you explain to each other what kind of things you need to know, it will be easier. Auditory learning type is when you have to hear something, when you have to pronounce something repetitively, and this is the way you would remember it. And the 4th one, reading, writing, it's the person who needs to have notes, who needs to write, who need to have, when you write and you have to keep writing, writing the same word. Let's say if you're learning the words, you need to write the same word multiple times. They are also called verbal learning, aka verbal learning, so learning through text, either reading it or writing notes. When you are at school, at university, wherever you are, prioritize learning with and from others. So don't say no to your friend or to your group mate when he or she says let's go and study together. It's actually a good thing when you study together because you can explain things to each other. It's sort of similar to if you are watching a YouTube video. And the other thing, you can actually practice kinesthetic type, where you can explain to each other what are certain things, what the certain things are, and this way you will actually remember things better. Plus, I think when you're learning with someone, you have more sort of motivation because you're doing it together and you have a certain goal, and your friend or your classmate won't let you give up on something. You can even ask each other to put those timers on your phones when you're like, okay, now we have an hour, and you just put your phone down and you don't pick it up until you do something. Another thing, don't forget that internet is actually a great tool to learn things, find out new things. I can tell you on my experience. Let's say on my bachelor's program at university, I was doing sort of a computer science, and a lot of the things were not explained in the books because this is the area that evolves very, very quickly. but there are a lot of videos on YouTube with a certain small detailed topics where you can actually go and see how it's done, where it's done, what's used, and it's easier for you to understand rather than listening to a 3-hour lecture where you have to, get a certain thing that the teacher was saying from a 3-hour conversation. In addition to that, on the internet there are all kinds of representation of the information, and maybe the way your professor at university explains you something is not the way you can or want even learn. I would definitely say that every subject should have a certain type of the way you study it, because I am certain that not every subject should have the same approach. As an example, if it's a history class and I need to remember the dates or the people who were kings, yes, at a certain time in a certain century, I would make a tree, maybe with the pictures and with the dates. But if it's my math class, I remember my teacher at high school, she had such a perfect strategy. We would have a copybook with our theory that we would apply for the problems, and we would always open it and see, okay, this theory, okay, this works over here. In addition to that, we would have a small notebook, yes, it's actually also like a notebook, and we would write there some kind of you remember we had cosinus, tangents, cotangents, all of those things. These are small, simple things, but it's useful because you can put it everywhere. I would have it in my pencil case, and this is what would be easier for me to remember. If this works for you, try to make it interesting, the process of learning and remembering things interesting, and use different colors, different highlighters. Maybe you need to take more time on drawing a graph or a table to make the representation more clear for you. Also, I wanted to add to different strategy and different subject is that you can use, for example, flashcards for those classes where you have to learn the words. Let's say if it's a language class, somewhere you just need to learn a repetition, right? Somewhere you actually need to read and look through that. Sometimes you need practice, such as homework. We'll come back to homework a bit later with you. Next thing, let's talk about consistency. Consistency is something that a lot of us lack, especially, those times when you have motivation and you think, yes, now, okay, I'm starting from Monday, I'm starting from tomorrow, or even if I'm starting today, you're full of energy and motivation, but in a day, 2, 3, your motivation decreases and goes to 0. This is because you set very high hopes and you want to achieve a lot of things in a very, very short span of time, and your brain starts procrastinating. Because procrastinating is a fear of failure. I heard this thing and I agree with it, that when we procrastinate, we avoid things that we should do, but we don't do them because we know it's probably hard, it's probably long, we could fail, yada yada yada. You have all of those excuses to yourself in your brain, knowing full well that you must do it, but you think, okay, I have some more time, and then boom, it's the moment when you have to give this paper to your professor. So in those days when you have a boost of motivation, don't think that you will have this motivation your whole life. You just need to understand it. You just need to be realistic in that sense, and don't set yourself high hopes that every single day you will wake up full of energy and you will have 8 hours of studying. No, I suggest you to have maybe 2-3 variations of days you might have when you have motivation for the whole day, when you're like, oh, okay, whatever, maybe I can do a couple of things today. And those days when you are fully tired and you cannot get up from your bed, those days also exist. Every single person have them. You just need to make something a habit in a certain way, and then your brain will not take it as something that you may be afraid of. I can give you an example of me doing some workouts. I know that I want to do it and I need to do it. I'm doing it for my body, I'm doing it for my health, I'm doing it for my future self. And I have 3 ways of how I'm doing this. I actually saw it, I was watching someone else's video and they also were talking about sport. But this is a great example because a lot of us want to do some kind of sport or activity, but a lot of us also procrastinate on that and find other excuses such as, I don't want to go to the gym, I don't have money to go to the gym, I'm so busy, yada yada yada. I'm trying to do it in the morning because I know that when I do something in the morning, I feel great for the rest of the day, plus it's sport, so I feel great after some kind of activity. I have 3 options. On those days when I'm fully energized, motivated and ready to do something, I wake up and I go and do a big, like 45 to an hour workout. I find especially the long video, it could be Pilates, it could be, well, stretching is usually not that active, something active, because I know that I'm gonna spend a whole hour, 45 minutes for that exercise. On those days when I'm like, not really feeling like that, but I know I want to do this, I will do a stretch, at least a 10-15 minute stretch. Anyone has 10 to 15 minutes in the morning or in the evening. If you say you don't, you just find excuses, because if you want to get those minutes, you can just wake up 10 minutes earlier. 10 minutes earlier is okay. And on those days when I understand that it's not nor exercising nor stretching day, or I know I already sort of failed with my time, because I like doing stretching in the morning, I will have my walks. I will try to do as many steps as I can. Honestly, you don't have to have this 10,000 steps goal. It's a marketing strategy to put you 10,000 steps. Some people want to do 12,000, some people want to do 7. Try to do as many steps as you can. It will also be counted as an activity. Next thing is so simple but so useful. Do the high priority tasks first. If you know it's a big and it's a top importance task, do it first. Because often what happens with us, when we have a list of things we need to do, to procrastinate, we do all of those small things thinking that if we now cross them out from the list, it will sort of give us a feeling of achieving something, yes, of achievement. But honestly, in the end of the day, you will still think about those 2-3 tasks that you had to do and which are big and important, but you didn't do them, and now you're sort of tired, you don't have time, yada yada yada. You don't have this feeling of achievement, yes, feeling great. If you do a reverse, and yes, you will push yourself, but in the beginning of the day, you will do those 2-3 top important tasks, and it's better, the earlier you start, the better you will feel. You will feel so great and you will boost it for the day. So you will do those top ones, and then you will do the rest, small, simple ones, so quickly, and you will feel great. Talking about the techniques that you could use, it's a Pomodoro technique. You should have 25 minutes of work and 5 minutes of rest. Try to set a timer, 25 minutes, you work for 25 minutes, and then you have 5-minute rest when you have a certain treat or you want to call someone. What I think works for me is when I divide my big task into small subtasks, and every time I achieve something, I feel better. For some people, doesn't work for me though. For some people, great motivation is when you have some sort of subscriptions, because when you pay for something, psychologically it should push you to actually do things. It doesn't do that with me, so I don't want to waste my money. But what boosts me is when I have certain planning. And I wanted to share with you 3 free tools that I use. No ad here, it's actually what I use and what I love. First thing, I love my Google Calendar. I know some people use their calendar in their phone, some people like to use their notebook. I love my Google Calendar, and all of the things I do are there. Next thing is Notion. Notion I actually use also for my work, for my personal planning. It has a lot of templates, and those templates you see when you just go on Notion, it's actually not all of those templates they have thousands of templates. If you open another library, they will have thousands of templates of other users. They have free templates, they have templates that you have to pay for. I honestly never paid for any templates because you can find really nice free ones. Calendar, Notion. Okay, correction, we have only 2 apps with you. Well, that's surprising. Final thing I wanted to talk with you about is homework. I know that some people are homework kind of guys, some people are tests and exams kind of guys. For me, I know that I'm always stressed and anxious because of tests and exams, and I would rather do homeworks and projects, and I know I will actually study and learn things. For some people, they actually need to put in those situations when they do a test or exam to push themselves to learn. Homework is a great tool. You can utilize it on 100% if you want to practice something. If you want to practice something, if you want to drill something, if you want to see what kind of examples you maybe will have in your tests, homework is a great tool. And you know that you can do homework not only by yourself, but you can ask your friends, you can ask your group mates, because a lot of the time your homework is a project, and the project is done in a team. And don't forget that teamwork is given for you not just because your teacher wants to get less projects, yes, but also for you to teach you how to work in a team. And when you have a team of people, everyone has their own experience, and sharing experience. I want to say sharing is caring, but it's not for this topic. It's a great hack. Yes, it's a great way of learning, and I think we will stop with you here today. I hope you use all of these things and they will help you to be a great student, and I think they work, as I mentioned earlier, for everyone, even if you're working right now, but because a lot of the time when we're working we are learning, but the great thing that we are being paid for that. So anyway, I wish you a great day. I hope you will achieve everything as long as you actually use it and don't procrastinate on your phone. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to all of my socials. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Give this video a thumbs up, and I hope to see you soon in the next video.